Welcome to
know
the ladies'
exactly what
room.
I was saying. Started with a coup, end with a chi.
Exactly. Exactly.
So okay, if y'all think that makes me like that's not happiness. Come on now, it's extracurricular.
We've
But
been
let's talk
saying it
about
for like 22 shows, and y'all been telling us we got different sex drives, we got different needs.
yeah.
We know it don't lead to happiness. That's why we say it all the time.
Right, but that's what a lot of y'all tend to
These
fight
men is
for
not happy.
your
They
self
don't
worth.
even sound happy when they
We know
talking.
that.
They don't
See,
even
this
sound
is
happy
this
when
is
they
counter.
talking.
This is contradicting your whole point about listening to women and we're gonna mold the men and change them and all that fun stuff. We've been saying for forever, stop bed hopping. You think they hearing us? Think they care? No, they don't care.
No,
No,
you
we
supposed to
don't.
bed hop until you ready to listen here.
Hey,
What
you
you're
can't,
supposed to do
Darwin.
it. Listen, what
Darwin.
I'm telling y'all is we
You
ain't doing
can't.
nothing wrong at the point where we doing something wrong.
Darwin. You can't be talking about emotions and then I bet next week or the week after show you're gonna be like some other men do. You start connecting everything to your genitals, and it's just like I can't with it. Like I've gotten to the point where when these conversations coming up, I have what I like to call I get into my cannon mode where it's like here we go with the because they
I
take
don't connect
everything
everything
that
to
we
my
said.
genitals.
Everything goes back to their genitals. Every single thing, right down to what we doing. And that whole, y'all are supposed to be cultured and make great decisions. Meanwhile, we just these wild animals running around, and y'all got to know
No,
that submission gonna tame us and all this. And I'm just calling
listen.
BS on it, like for real.
If you single, if you single and a woman's supposed to like she can bone who she want to bone while she's single.
You can,
And
but
how
we not
many?
promoting that you should be boning whoever you want to bone all the
Exactly.
You can
time.
listen. Me. I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know what all these other men do and how they want to define y'all when y'all do certain. I don't care who y'all boning or what y'all boning while y'all single or not looking for that marriage or stability. And what I'm saying is when I was single, I was gonna do what I wanted to do. Point
But
blank.
let me put it this way. That's just like why I really appreciate Themis's channel or whatever. Because what he said on his channel one day made sense. And I think a lot of men specifically need to hear it. And I never heard it articulated that way, and I never even conceptualized it in that way. But he made a good point. When you
Just say the point.
behaviors are muscles that you build over time. So if you spent 10, 15, 20 years building up a muscle of not having discipline, lacking discipline, then it does not make any sense that you think that just because in your mind you're like, okay, now I'm ready to settle down or whatever, you're still going to have all of those same behaviors that have built into your muscle memory of yourself over this time. You were not preparing yourself
That's my
for
point
this
of
marriage
saying
and
you
all
was
this stuff that
patient.
you're talking
That's
about.
my point of saying you was patient with me. You was understanding. You knew how to talk to me in a way that helped me realize my flaws and stuff. So I understand that, like patience. You not go cut out behaviors in just because you say
No, what
some.
I'm telling you is that you should look in the mirror and say that maybe if you would have started to have more discipline before and teaching yourself those behaviors, then you wouldn't have had that problem, is what I'm saying. That what I'm saying is if you want a certain result, then you have to know that
You
there
said
are
teach
certain
myself. I had a
muscles that
daddy.
you're
I had
going
a
to have
daddy
to
that was
build,
supposed to
and
teach me
one of
this,
them is going to be
ma'am.
discipline. You can't be like I can be undisciplined the entire time from when
But
I'm
but but we
I'm
do
35, and
we do
then all of a
understand that
sudden
I had parents and I had a father who taught me my behaviors from little. So it's not like you just I'm
right.
not gonna teach myself behaviors
No,
until I can teach myself
I didn't
behaviors.
say that, but what I'm saying is that we're having a conversation now, general, right? And again, we have sons, we have children. What I'm saying is it's important to not say things like you're supposed to just be so undisciplined through your 20s. No, no, no. You have to teach them that discipline is not something you're just going to wake up one day and have. It's something that you're going to have to develop over time, and you need to be aware of that. Now, whether or not you choose to do it is going to be on you, but at least I let you know
Oh,
that
okay.
that's
So
what
you
you
said don't
have.
act on your sexual desires.
No,
Exactly.
Why not? I don't
You
agree
said
with that.
No,
22
use some discretion. Like, what's
Yeah.
wrong with
Yeah,
that?
okay, use the discretion. But if I'm single and I want to bone a girl, I'm gonna bone a girl. I'm not being like, let me be disciplined.
And then
What
once
for?
Not
once
doing
you decide
what
to
you
get
want.
married, you're still gonna bone a girl when you want to bone a girl because you're
But
so used to
listen,
doing it.
here's the thing.
That's a
Okay,
good
so
point too.
okay, bone a girl, but okay, wait a minute. Is she a girl that is she clean for one? Is she clean? Do y'all think about that? And then are
Yeah.
you boning a girl and leaving her alone, or are you boning a girl and you continuing to date her and spend time with her and develop these relationships
Y'all
that are dead
messed
end
up.
relationships? And
Is
now
she on birth control?
you bringing on all her drama, and now you're forming a perception of women because you've been engaging with this woman. And then, like Candace said, is she on birth control? Are y'all using protection? Is she gonna come up pregnant? Because it's like you got to have some discretion. It's one thing to have fun, men gonna do it, but here's the thing: like you got to have some discretion, and you have all these men
Y'all are
complaining
just
about
got a
child
lot of
support. They're
bottled
complaining
up
about
sexual
women ain't this and
frustration in
women
y'all.
ain't that
No.
because they didn't have that discretion.
Darwin.
Y'all was just so y'all
No.
mean to tell me y'all women just be walking around wanting to bone men and y'all be like, well, no, I'm gonna use some
My
discipline
husband
today.
is a
Y'all
nut.
are
Yes,
crazy.
yes,
Darwin.
yes.
Y'all, so y'all condition society
No,
for
it's
that.
not
Y'all need to
y'all.
stop all that movement shit. Y'all need to stop all that.
Darwin, it's not y'all. It's called understanding that there are consequences to my behavior. That's what it's called.
No, y'all spoiling men. Y'all spoiling men.
Also, everybody
y'all making us think that y'all ain't boning. Y'all don't want to have sex. That's why people think y'all
No, but y'all do that.
Darwin.
Y'all need to let all the men know that y'all want to bone.
Darwin,
y'all trying to rock around like, no, I don't want to bone. I have discipline.
No, it's under certain
y'all need to just start boning.
circumstances. You all think about it just from a physical or a sexual aspect. I might meet a fine man that I'm like, oh, he's hot. But
yeah, it's physical.
Maybe one day, but in the current circumstance, no, because there's a certain level of discretion that I personally have, and other people, might have too.
So he could also be trash. He could be trash. Why would I?
Exactly. He could be crazy.
You won't know unless you do it. So it don't matter.
No.
Darwin. Just because you can, Darwin. Just because you can do something, don't always mean you should.
Exactly.
Just because you can do something, don't always mean you should. You ain't no dude walking around here with your fly open, slinging around like woo woo woo. Come here, woo woo woo. Come here. No,
the way you get experience and stuff,
and black men
is
are like,
you do it a lot.
Look, and between me and y'all and everybody else who's listening, I'm sick of that mentality that you can't manage your flesh. You can, you just choose not to manage your flesh. Let's just talk about that.
No, I'm managing. I was managing my flesh.
Darwin. This is
everybody you want to bone.
Why y'all keep acting like it was a mistake when people are single to be boning who they want to bone? That's not a mistake.
That's not what we're saying.
Nothing bad.
What we're saying is
go
out there and bone and open your legs, but do not come in my office or come to Cannon or come to anybody here complaining about the consequences. That's like with men who have multiple children by multiple women, and then they want to talk about the women they've had the kids with. And my first statement I tell them is, you laid down with her. So what does that make you? Because you can't control what she's doing. You can't control the kids because the kids are still here, but you can control whether or not you unbuckle your belt. You can control that part. Let's talk about that.
See, Miss Joe, I'm a different breed. I take care of all my kids. See,
I know.
I'm just
wait.
I'm just speaking personally. I'm just speaking personally.
I understand.
I would like a world where women was boning when they want to bone.
Darwin, they already do.
When they want to bone.
Darwin, they already do. They just don't vocalize it like y'all do. Because for some reason, some of your colleagues, the counterparts, or whomever, they act like they got to always talk about boning, and it's just like, like
how many women that had side boys.
I went to a social gathering recently, and I heard these men, and I timed them on my phone. They talked about their genitals and sex for a good 40 minutes. And I was just like, you know what?
Where were you?
But that's the point that I'm making.
Social gathering. I was just, you know how
what
you ear hustle?
Is that what I'm saying is it's just like eating habits, right? If you've been eating poor, if you've been having poor eating habits your whole life, right? And just eating any old thing, and you used to eating this way and doing this, and you get addicted to sugar too and stuff like that. And you're used to eating when you're bored. You used to doing all this stuff, and you've been doing that all of this time. Just because all of a sudden you hit 40, you're not gonna be like, okay, now I'm gonna have a healthy lifestyle now, and it's just gonna fall into your lap. That's not how we
talk about it.
So what I'm saying is,
so you wean yourself off.
No, ain't no weaning.
So what I'm saying is that sexual discipline is the same way. If you're used to, oh, I'm just gonna go have sex because I'm bored, or I'm just gonna have sex when I got an attitude, or I'm gonna have sex when I'm whatever it is, or I'm gonna go find a different person. You're gonna do those same behaviors when you're triggered in those same ways. Even when
what you talking about? Ain't no weaning.
What I'm saying is because
you wean yourself off.
So no.
And then that's why y'all sit. That's why men sit and say the things that you say when you're just like, well, this is just how we are, and we can't help ourselves, and all we did was a little bit of this. Because y'all don't want to look at the fact that no, you have been cultivating this behavior in yourself over all the time, and you don't want to do anything to address it. You just want to act like that's how you have to be, and it's not how you have to be. Because if you have, but that's why I say I wish that in our community, especially in our men, that there was a higher purpose, just a little bit of a higher purpose, that they actually were as committed or concerned about having families as they claimed that they were. There's a commitment that you have to make in order to accomplish that. You can't be out here doing any old thing that you want to do and then just think all of a sudden the community come together in these nuclear 2-parent households all of a sudden.
Y'all asses is
fucked.
That's all I got to say. Y'all asses is fucked.
No.
Women is fucked.
Hey,
it's over with all that stuff.
Darwin, you said something about weaning. So there's a class that I teach called Smoking Cessation where I help people kick nicotine. You know what the biggest mistake people make when they're trying to stop using nicotine products?
Pick up another addiction.
No, they go cold turkey. That is the biggest mistake. Yeah. What we need to teach people how to do is set a goal, set a time that's realistic where you know you're going to be done.
Yeah, right.
And then take baby steps to work towards that time. And then, because you know, there's
so we going back to my question. Are y'all gonna wait around for them baby steps?
No, we don't have to. We choose to, but there's no law that
y'all waiting around for all the other shit. Y'all let the niggas do all other types of stuff. Might as well help them do this addiction.
No. we don't have to.
Some women would. Some women don't.
She just said you do. To. You only got 3 men to pick from in the whole wide world. So you do have to do it.
You have really.
No.
Yeah, 5 men and 3 of them is in jail. And
my husband, and I don't even pray. Lord help him.
Look, you don't pray, I'ma pray. Where my man?
Y'all gotta stop sending these messages to these women, act like they got choices out here. Y'all just said they don't have choices, so stop trying to act like they can be picky. If you ain't got choices, you can't be picky.
Anything and anybody
women do have choices.
You just said they didn't.
I said amongst black men. That is not the same as saying that they have no choices.
Right.
That's a clear distinction, sir.
Well, you just black women ain't about to be they more loyal to black men. So obviously, I didn't make this rule. I didn't tell y'all to be loyal to black men only. I didn't tell y'all this.
It's a whole movement. It's a whole new movement.
Right.
It's new. It's 2022. All right.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about, the divestment movement.
I know.
Right.
That shit not gonna work for y'all.
Do you see? No. Do you see? Do you see how deep the indoctrination is?
I do.
Keep falling back into it. Do you see?
Hey, no, I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm pro for it.
Just take whatever you can get.
But what I've been preaching to y'all,
all of them. This man married. He got a whole wife right here, and even it's the nature.
How long I've been preaching to y'all that it's over with it. I've been saying this every show. I say y'all asses. I don't see no hope for the black men. I've been saying this.
It's not over.
All right, with black men it is. Go get you a white man. Well, not you, Miss Jovo, you good, and not you, Miss Raven, you good, and maybe not you, but Ashley, you might want to consider a white man. You see what type of problems these black men is giving these black women.
Lord. I don't know what in the world.
Hey, when Darwin
told
does
y'all.
his segment
This
by
is
himself,
not-
hopefully it's not gonna be love connection or anything like that because
No.
I don't know.
For me, I say divestment is an option. If divestment means exploring options, if
Right.
it means exclusively date outside of your race, I'm not with that. I think people who
Right.
think like that have some issues like
Yeah.
that they haven't addressed. Because if you can't find, it is hard to find love within the, our communities because we have so many issues, right? And then, like Hannah was saying, if you're a Black woman, the odds are just not in your favor when it comes to numbers, right? So it's difficult. But to just say, "Oh, I'm not going to date these people in this race," as though there's not a possibility that you can meet somebody, that's indicative of you having kind of some internal issues. So
Self-hatred.
I would say,
Right.
so it could be self-hatred. It could be a lack of like a realization that maybe you are the problem. It could be your bad choice making. It could be you're not being open to, like you say, you're being open to the people in your race, but are you really being open? Are you, like for me, I know for a point in time, I wanted to date, but all I did was work and go to school and come home. And go to church, and that's all I did. So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like you got to be open to and available to, to find somebody. But to just be like
somebody at the church.
exclusively date outside of your race, that's weird to me. I don't understand people like that. I think people like that, men and women, got some internal issues they need to deal with. But as opening up your options, I say, yay to divestment.
Mhm.
But
Listen,
so I'm
everybody
gonna
say
wrap up
yay
our show.
except for misunderstanding. She racist.
Ah!
Oh, Lord. Oh,
If
my
you want
God.
to chime in, go ahead and call in. We'll take a few calls, but we are officially in the after dark or in late night with the ladies' room, or in the ladies' room, I should say. I'm sorry, I'm tripping up my words. When I start doing that, y'all know I'm tired. So late night in the ladies' room. So I'm gonna open up the floor.
Late night in the ladies' room. I'm live from Vegas, baby.
Oh, Lord. That's why. This is why the foolishness is happening.
I told y'all
Get it.
y'all was gonna be in for a
It's all
special treat
connecting
tonight.
together.
warned
Okay.
us.
Okay.
Exactly.
I get it now. I get it.
She
I told
warned
y'all.
us.
I get it.
All right, I
get it.
told y'all.
I
You
yeah.
got the glasses on. Like, I mean, that should have
Yeah,
let you
I
know
was gonna
from
say
there.
something about the glasses. I was like, where did it's like, okay, so it's like in Atlanta, we see, dad Darwin, husband
Right,
Darwin,
right,
he got on the ball cap, look like he been running a few errands, whatever.
right.
Then we got this Darwin. We got triple OG times 100.
That's Bishop. That's
yes.
Bishop.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
All right, we had Gangsta Darwin our last show.
I know, right? I'm waiting for you to pull out the pinky ring, dude. Because I'm telling you, like,
I got it. I'm not worried until tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
oh, I get it.
Just got here. I'm chilling right now.
I get it. My husband got the same, like, oh, I'm not around you personality,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so funny. That's where he break out the chain and all of that, and the watch and all of that. Meanwhile, around me, he looked, like dad and husband. I get it.
Yeah, we can't let y'all know we having fun.
Glasses
We cannot let y'all know we having fun.
Low rim glasses.
Let me find out you a Power Ranger.
I'm over this motherfucker fighting crime.
Oh my God. Not being a vigilante.
Hey, every man that stay out late and come home 5 o'clock in the morning, he should come home and say he out fighting crime. Bitch, I'm Batman.
He should be crime free. There better not be a purse snatcher in sight. See,
You should try.
You think if Batman
results.
came home to his woman, she gonna be complaining like, bitch, I'm out there motherfucking fighting crime, trying to save the world. Leave me the fuck alone. No, but you was out there with I was fighting crime.
Fighting crime. The excuses. But I want to hear more about what you were talking about earlier. Like you were saying, like you were kind of like praising Cannon for kind of sticking it out with you, and you were making a good point that you can't just stick it out with any man. You got to go by his actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I understanding? You got to kind of go by his actions, because like there are some women, right, who are trying to so-called stick it out with a man who's consistently showing them that they don't care at all, right? But then you also got the ones who will do a little something for a little bit to make you think that, you know, they care, and then they revert back to how they've been doing, you know, kind of like that baby boy syndrome, right? Y'all remember in that movie, she was so-called sticking it out, right? And she was nagging him, she was giving him chance after chance, she was, you know, using her resources to try to help him, she was praying, she was doing all these things that a lot of women do, right? And he wasn't the one that she should have been doing that for, right? So I think some women kind of like, I don't know, it's just a
But that's
slippery
why I think
slope.
divestment is good, because I think a lot of women do that because they feel like they don't have a lot of choices. But if they open
Yeah.
they minds up to having a lot of choices, like, oh, I got options too. Because
But
black
that's
men,
different from what you were
because
saying. You were saying at first, oh, well, women have to kind of stick it out. So it's like, give some
no,
women.
no, no, no. I'm saying when you demanding this change, and like are you guys actually like putting in the change that you got need to put into as far as how you communicate and
Right.
all the other, like, or stop doing things. I'm not just saying like when you sticking it out or being patient that you're supposed to just be still catering. Like some women, they cut a nigga off. They be like, I'm not doing this no more. You not acting right. You cheating on me. You not gonna come home to a meal no more. You're not gonna come home and get access to my
But
pussy
then
no more.
that's a little tricky.
Well,
To me, that sounds like a toxic relationship. It's like, oh, so
Yeah.
you doing wrong, so now I'm gonna do wrong. And
that's
it's
not
like,
wrong. No,
and
no, that's not wrong
whose
because
wrong
Yeah.
came first?
It sounds like
I
withholding
think the
protection.
option would be to just leave.
but that's
It's
not.
not
If
going to
you
warrant
if
any
you
change in that
can't,
man.
my thinking is if you're not worthy of my best and I can't give you my all, then that tells me that either I'm not ready or you're somebody who I don't think is worthy of my best. So that means I need to leave.
Now, yeah, exactly. This is going to lead to leaving. Like if you start cutting out and he's still acting crazy, that means he take you for granted. So then leave. I'm not saying leaving is not an option. What I'm saying is
Wait
sometimes,
6 years.
huh?
You saying wait 6 years?
No, I'm wait as long as you can wait. Like preserve your happiness, preserve your self respect. You know, if you start seeing yourself losing respect for yourself, and you start questioning things that you're doing, it's time to leave. You know, it's, if you at home like and you question like if you should be there or if I'm doing too much, because everybody had a moments when they find themselves doing stuff they think they shouldn't be doing, and they start questioning themselves. That's when you're supposed to leave. And when you start becoming
Well,
confused about who you are as a person.
let me just add a wrinkle in that, because it's one thing for me, and it's just me. It's one thing when you're a wife, okay? Because we've talked about this on another show, where a lot of times people get married and they don't know exactly what they're getting into. We talking about a duty. You signed up for something, and like today for one of my Facebook posts, what I wrote, and it just came to mind as I was thinking about what we were going to discuss tonight, was that and I'll go to it. Hold on, I'm gonna read it off because I think people need to hear this. Consistency, even when you don't want to be consistent, that's marriage. That's a hard conversation to have, because we automatically assume when you're not getting the things that you exactly need to be getting from a relationship or from your partner, some of us think that's our green light to start shutting down, or like what we say, wilding out, thinking about yourself. Meanwhile, it's like you're not thinking about the team, because see, that and my mentality is, okay, say Mr. Mosley, me and him are not getting along for whatever reason. I've had in recent years to develop the mentality that, okay, we ain't getting along, but okay, we're raising a child together. We got a whole like family unit going on. So I can't just like shut down because I'm not getting like 99% of what I need from him right now. Like we got to sit down and talk about what consistency gonna look like for the both of us. And I think somebody said it earlier. Like it takes I heard this from somebody earlier today. It takes two to fight for something, and that's really, really true. But even when they don't come to the first fight, you still can't stop being consistent and stop performing your duties because you're not getting everything that you want. It's for me, and I'm just speaking on me. Having that mentality is why I have stayed married. And people say, "Oh, well, are you happily married?" I'm realistically and I'm happily married. I understand that we're gonna have some times where neither one of us gonna get exactly what we want, but that doesn't give me the green light to shut down.
Right. You got to be okay with not being okay a lot of times.
Or not even that, just I tell people there's two different types of problems. It's like the candy, now and later. And most of the problems that we face are later problems. So sometimes we just need to step back and kind of sit and be uncomfortable for a moment to realize what our next move needs to be. Like sometimes you grow from being uncomfortable. You don't always have to fix everything that comes in front of you. Like some of us just like to jump up and fix stuff. And it's just like sometimes it's like growing pains. It's like, oh, Raven will understand this. It's like when you lock your hair in the beginning. Like, yeah, when you lock your hair in the beginning, and by the way, I'm not locking, I'm just experimenting. You lock your hair in the beginning and you just like, what is this? But then what happens after a while? Oh, okay, I see what they were saying now. And sometimes relationships are like that. Sometimes. That's how I see my marriage.
Right, like it's not perfect, and you have to be willing to.
And I don't want a perfect marriage because my marriage not being perfect is what got us to where we are now. Like the imperfections is what really pushed us to a whole nother level to like be the best version, not just man and wife, but be the best version of ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, we bring out the best in each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Because we had to sit and talk about stuff that made us uncomfortable and that whole the growing pains of it. And not wanting to fix stuff every time something bad came up. Like, let's just sit in it and see what it's gonna go.
But I think you also have to be clear on what you want for your life.
Though. That part.
Like, you have to be very clear on what you want for your life and what you don't want for your life. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to accept anything from anybody that you don't see as your life. Because, like, you have your own life to live. Like, everybody got their own separate life and experience to have. Mm-hmm. And like she was saying, you don't have to be long suffering to accept things into your life that you don't see for it, and can't nobody make you feel bad about it.
I think what's important is to be careful with who you choose, like who you choose to date, who you choose to have this relationship with, and who you choose to ultimately marry. And I know I've heard, married people say all the time, there are some things about my spouse that surprise me. So I'm pretty sure, you won't know everything, right? But there are some kind of what I call like big ticket items or some, big signs, big red flags that you can't ignore, right. Like temper. For me, temper is one, how you communicate, when you're upset, how you solve problems. Like, so many things are important. You get real disrespectful when you're mad. Like, those types of things are things that I think about. And if I see some things like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that ain't gonna work. And I'm out real fast, But I think a lot of times people they don't think about the future. They're not using wisdom. They're just kind of living in the moment. I hear this with women a lot. Oh, he gives me flowers and he takes me out. And, it's like, those are the in the now type of things and things that he's doing. But like, what type of person is he? Like, who is he? What are his habits? I think so those are the things that I think sometimes people don't.
Join us Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.